A story was told about a king of England. Not a king of England, but a man who wanted to become the king of England. He made a request. This story was recounted in Christopher Marlowe's Dr. Faustus. The man entered into a bargain with Mephistopheles, a devil, and told the devil, if I can have the opportunity to rule England as a king, I will renounce heaven. I will renounce heaven. Let me have opportunity to be a king over this mighty empire. And Mephistopheles told him, it's okay. Let's enter into a bargain. Let's sign a contract. They signed a contract. The next day, this man woke up and found himself a powerful king. Very wealthy, very powerful, very influential. With money, gold, diamond, and costly ornaments around him, beautiful women around him. And this man became king and presided over England for 40 years. At the end of the 40th year, the night that will bring the year to an end, Mephistopheles came and told him, your time is up. And the man said, up as what? You sold your soul to me to gain 40 years to rule over England. I have come to take your soul. And this man said, no way. I can't trade my soul for anything. And the devil told him, you are a liar. You can't eat your cake and have it. You have traded your soul already. And this man made a statement and said, if I can have my soul back, I will use another 40 years to flood England with my penitential tears. If I can have my soul back, I will use another 40 years to weep in such a way that my tears will become a flowing river and wipe away the sins of entire England. But it was too late. He couldn't have it back. Many times we end up killing our fellow human being. We end up doing terrible things at the detriment of our soul. That when we get there and look back, we discover that the sacrifice was not worth the achievement or the success. I know a man who was so obsessed with promotion in the company where he works. He doesn't have time for his family. He doesn't have time for anything. All he knows was promotion, pay raise. He was so involved in the work that he hardly pays attention. Eventually, he got the promotion, got the money and everything. But by the time he had time to look into his family, his children have ended up as touts and vagabonds out in the street. Even the money and everything acquired, the children embezzled them, wasted everything. Before the man died, he made a regret and said, I've achieved success, but a hollow success, empty success, nothing. That what he gave on the way to achieving this was not what he achieved. We live in a world where people have killed their wife, killed their children, done terrible things just to make money. People have killed their business partners. People have done terrible things. Today, the Bible is telling us, man does not live by bread alone. There are other things that add value and meaning to human life. There are things you shouldn't compromise. There are areas you shouldn't dare. Because you may get the success, but at the end of the day, it becomes a hollow one. No joy, nothing. Cardinal Wolsey of England forgot his role as a priest of God and became a friend to King Henry VIII. Became his friend, became almost a politician. Now, King Henry VIII, the wife he married, Catherine, could not bear him an heir to the throne of England, the person who will take over him when he's no more. And because of, during that time, the kings enjoy what is known as divine right of king. Divine right of king means that you must be in communion with the Pope. And for you to be in communion with the Pope, you must keep to the teachings of the church. Now, he wanted to divorce his wife, Catherine, and marry a new wife who will bear him a male child. Now, there's no way he will divorce his wife without breaking the laws of the church. Marital indissolubility, that marriage is still dead. Do you and your partner apart? So, Cardinal Wolsey came into the picture and told him, don't worry, I will prevail on the Pope to give you dispensation. This man became happy and started working with Cardinal Wolsey. Cardinal Wolsey went to Pope Clement, who was the Pope then, and started bringing the case of the king to Pope. The Pope wade into the matter and found out that no, this is against the teachings of the church. The Pope said no, because he has given the king so many assurances. When he told the king this thing cannot work out, the king became mad, broke away from the church, and became head of the Church of England, and then imprisoned Cardinal Wolsey. Now, while Cardinal Wolsey was in prison, he made a powerful lament and said, all through my life, I served the earthly king with my youthful strength. In my old age, he abandoned me. If I had served my God with half the strength I served the earthly king, my God will not have abandoned me in my old age. This was the last statement he made before committing suicide. So even the political connection, the money, the friendship of the king could not give him the peace and joy he needed so much. Let us not do anything that will compromise our soul. Man does not live by bread alone. The difference between a man and an animal is this. Animals live to eat. Human beings eat to live. Animals, the sole reason for their existence is to live and eat, while human beings eat to live. The difference is clear. Human beings need food to sustain their life, and we don't need so much to survive. We need very little to survive. Yeah, we need very little to survive. There are people who eat a meal a day, and if you are consistent with it and make it a testable, you're not going to die. We need very little. The problem in the world is that people are too greedy, and that greediness is what leads us to train our fellow human being. Because that greediness makes you think that yes, man lives by bread alone. But that is a false sense of value. To think having all these things makes life worth living. The world has enough for our need, but not enough for our greed. The world has enough for our need, but not enough for our greed. And that greed is the reason why we have terrible, abominable atrocities in the world. People claim they're fellow human beings. So when you eat and draw fuel and energy, it helps you to pursue other things. You can eat food to draw the strength to do your work. But animals, they don't have any work. From time to time, I tell my students, have you seen any goat that became a medical doctor? They say, no, Father. Have you seen any dog that became a lawyer? They say, no, Father. Have you seen any cow that became a professor? I say, no, Father. I say, you see. So animals live to eat. They don't have dream. They don't have destiny. They don't have aspiration. The human beings eat to live. And because we eat to live, food is not our primary goal. We merely eat to survive and then have strength to pursue our goal and destiny. But today, many people are seeing eating as the reason for existence. The Bible is telling us today, man does not live by bread alone. Bread is not the reason why we are here. There are other things we need to pursue. We need to pursue kindness. We need to pursue love. We need to pursue other higher values. When we understand this, then it begins to temper our attitude towards certain things. It will increase our disposition for love, our care for our human being, our generosity, our kindness. These are the things that make for better living. These are the things that add value to our life. From time to time, I read funeral orations and tributes people write for their loved ones. I have never got a funeral oration or tribute, and I see somebody mentioning this man was a good man because he built 5 stories, 2 in Onitsha. He has 100 million naira in account. He has this, he has this. That is why he's a good man. No, we don't count all these things. We say he's a good man because he was a good father to his children, a good husband to his wife, a good mother to her children, a good brother to his brothers, a good son to her mother or his mother. So these are the things we say about people. I think it was one time an American president who said, "Die when I will, but let it be said of me that I uprooted a weed and planted a flower." Die when I will, but when the story of my life will be said, let it be said of me that I once uprooted a weed and planted a flower. I once created a value. I once made an impact. Let it not be said about me that I took every land belonging to my own owner. Let it not be said about me that I ate the share of money belonging to my business partner. Let it not be said of me I backbited my neighbor just to get ahead of him. Man does not live by bread alone. There are other things that add value to life. If it were not so, Augustine would have told us, "You have created us for yourself, and our soul shall remain restless until it finds rest in God." There are people who have gotten wealth, gotten the highest level of achievement in the world that can bring an average man to envy. Yet even up there is no happiness, there is no peace of mind, there is no satisfaction, there is no fulfillment, there is no joy. This will tell you, I have forgotten the man who said that nothing can satisfy a man whom God does not satisfy. Nothing can satisfy a man whom God does not satisfy. So in your craving for material acquisition, for wealth, for this achievement, for this, please create room for God. Create a region for divinity. Because only God can fill that gap. And then let us not kill our fellow human being because we want to make money. Let us not do things that will take sleep away from our eyes. Because when the chiefs are gone at the evening of life, we will still realize that God, it is God over everything. When Solomon made the statement, "Vanity of vanity, all is vanity," that statement, I've always said it, didn't come from a man who was a poor man. Because our people do moji. So, when David is saying vanity of vanity, all is vanity, it's different from when a poor man says vanity of vanity, all is vanity. A poor man, his own can be inspired by envy because of really okay. But when someone made that statement, we need to pay him attention because Solomon has wealth, he has wisdom, he has everything. God made him so wealthy to the extent that the kings who came before him and after him would always look back in envy. But he said, vanity of vanity, all is vanity. This is to tell us, let us not live our life as if man is meant to survive by bread alone. Because all this understanding will become a catalyst for all manner of evil and atrocities. We go out killing our fellow human being, doing abominables to make money. Today, our young boys today are doing things that when you hear, you shudder. Today, Yahoo has gone beyond pressing computer. They now enter the one called Okite. They now enter the one terrible things, the one Yahoo Plus, and name them. There was a particular video I saw on Facebook, or was it on TikTok? People were saying that all of us are going to hellfire. It depends on the one you are doing. If you commit adultery, hellfire. If you cheat, hellfire. If you take to ritual to make money, hellfire. If you kill your fellow human being, hellfire. So choose your hellfire, choose your own. And people say, if that is the case, no problem. We say all these things because the reality is not staring us in the face. But when reality stares us in the face, we can hardly have the strength to say this. There was a young guy, a university boy, who entered university and became a monster, a cult member. He was very wicked and mean. He kills, he rapes women, he steals, he does all manner of atrocities. He was the capon of his cult gang. One day, he went to hospital, and a sheet of paper from doctor's office changed the story of his life forever. He was diagnosed of terminal ailment. This young man who has not gone to church for almost 10 years, while on the hospital bed, every few days, he would tell the mom to call a priest for him. Every little moment, he would tell the mom, call a priest for me. At that moment, his soul was yearning for the assurance of God's mercy and peace. He was looking for a priest. He never requested them to call his gang or cult members. He never wanted to see any of them. It was already late. Ndị Igbo sị na ọka agụ na-awụ ọfịa chie a na-akụrụ ya ụbọchị. Mbọsị ukwu ya eji agụ mgbada abịa ụgwọ. Don't live your life as if man is meant to live by bread alone. If you understand that there are other things that add meaning to life, you learn to forgive. You learn to let go sometimes. You learn to be less greedy. You learn to be forgiving, kind. There are many things you will learn, knowing that it's not about this world. We can never outlive the need of God in our life. It is not possible. We can never outlive it. One time, American President Abraham Lincoln stunned Americans one day when he said, I have been driven many a times upon my knees by an overwhelming conviction that I have nowhere else to go. My own wisdom and that of those around me are insufficient. The president of the most powerful nation in the world, a man who has power to control the most powerful military, the most powerful economy, is telling you that he has been driven many times upon his knees by an overwhelming conviction that he has nowhere else to go. We can never outgrow the need of God in our life. And because we can never outgrow it, let us create room for God in everything we do. Let us not live as if we are not answerable to any authority, any power. Let us. So if a president can have need for God, then what about a poor man like you or myself? Why will I live as if there is no God? Why will I do that? I think the context of this homily will also make it adherent to share this story again. Many of you are already familiar with it. The story of two men who boarded a flight and were going on their journey. And then one of the friends raised a discussion that centered on God, Jesus Christ, and faith and religion. When he was calling God, Jesus Christ, and faith and religion, his friend turned to him and said, my friend, grow up. Why are you talking about Jesus? That this thing is meant for those who are unenlightened, who are uneducated. I cannot be talking about God in a world where science has explained everything. There is marks of childishness to still be talking about Jesus and blah, blah, blah. Cut the crap. Don't mention Jesus and whatever. Science has explained everything. His friend didn't talk again. They continued on their journey. And then all of a sudden, a plane that was cruising at about 35,000 feet above sea level, all of a sudden, there was this turbulence that the plane could descend like 5,000 feet within a twinkle of an eye. The plane will just descend. When this kind of thing happens, you can turn green or blue with fear. When this kind of thing happens, your heart can jump out of your body or melt and flow into your stomach. So when this thing was happening, the one who was telling his friend to call the crap about Jesus cuddled up like this and was shivering and shouting, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. When he was doing this, that friend turned to him, wiped his face, to know whether he is sure of what he's seeing. When he touched the guy and said, "Why Jesus?" I said, "You will not understand." That was the moment the man became spiritual. After the experience, when he got down, he made a powerful reflection. He said, "There is nothing to compare with crisis when it comes to finding out the otherwise hidden truth of the soul. There is nothing to compare with crisis if you want to find the truth about human soul. It is only suffering that can bring about the truth about human soul." No wonder if you read Psalm 99 and say, "Lord, let us know the shortness of our life that we might gain wisdom." I will malify. So the man said, there is nothing to compare with crisis when it comes to finding out the otherwise hidden truth of the soul. Any soul whatsoever, even the soul of a hired assassin, even the soul of a hardened criminal, even the soul of a highly sophisticated professor, an acclaimed scientist, any soul, and you say you can mask it, deny it, or pass it off with cool sophistication and intellectual denial. Tell them, call the crap. The man said, "No worry. Remove the shield of safety. Remove the cushion of comfort. Interject the threat of death without the presence of anybody to take the panic out of the moment." The man said, "It is fairly certain that most in the ranks of humanity commence prayer." Once you remove the cushion of safety, the cushion of comfort, the shield of safety, and you interject the threat of death, when death stares a man face to face, every philosophy will vanish, every intellectual sophistication will vanish. You are facing reality raw. That is when you won't even know when your knees will be on the ground. We don't need to wait till that moment before we realize the need of God in our life. So let us appreciate the wisdom in this statement. Man does not live by bread alone. In your daily hustling, in the busting of social life and activities, create a room for God. Create time for God. It is very important. There are many of us here who have not gone for confession for the past 5 years. There are many of us here who have not received Holy Communion for the past 5 years. You are not bothered. Don't behave like the Jewish people who got so angry when Jesus told them, "Unless you eat this bread and drink this wine, you will not have life in you." They went away. Jesus didn't call them back. So today I don't want you to go away. Come back. You need God in your life. All of us need it. Our people, the Igbos used to say, if you are not dead yet, don't mock the blind, because you don't know what will come your way. There are life experiences that can humble you. And that was also what we saw in the first reading. When the people of Israel were in the wilderness, God wanted to humble them. And he really humbled them. And they realized the majesty of God in their life. There are experiences in life that can humble you as well. But unless you have created a spiritual source, when that experience comes, it can blow you away. So we ask God today to give us the discernment to live our life, knowing that we cannot do without God. We can never outgrow the need of God. And because we can never outgrow the need of God, may we be kinder, may we be more forgiving, may we be more generous, may we be more loving, may we eschew greed, so that the common goodness of life can get to every one of us. We don't belong.